it's Roxy with Broadway Breakdown, and today I came up with a list of songs I think will make your vocal auditions really successful. So anytime you go audition for a show, you've got to keep in mind what's the character you're going to audition for, and obviously the tone of the show. Is it a drama? Is it a true blue musical comedy? And the role you're going for. I mean, are you going for a lead, a supporting, ensemble? And I think sometimes there is an unwritten rule of don't sing something from the show, because the director obviously has someone in mind, sometimes recast, but definitely a tone or a voice in mind of what they want that character to sound like. And if you go in singing something from the show and you sound nothing like what they have in mind for that character, they're immediately just going, oh no, that's not what I wanted that song to sound like. So you've already kind of, put yourself at a huge disadvantage. Whereas if you go in singing something similar to that show, and you sound a lot like maybe the tone they want, the layers, they hear something in the melody of your voice they like, then they're thinking, oh, okay, I liked the sound of that person. They had a lot of layers and tones and coloring to their voice that I really could see them in that role. Great. So you maybe earned yourself a callback. So that's what you want to grab them with. And you want to obviously pick a song that shows off your voice in its best light. So that's what you need to grab them with. And you obviously want to pick a show of likeness. So you can't, if you're going to go audition for Hairspray, or, I wouldn't go pick a show like Rent. That's nothing alike. If you're going to go audition for Hairspray, there's obviously lots of shows in that genre, in that 60s upbeat genre. You depending on the role you're going for, something like, Jersey Boys or Dream Girls or Catch Me If You Can or, Little Shop, Promises. I mean, there's just lots of shows that will sound like whatever character you're auditioning for that you can, there's a meet up. So that's what I'm talking about. Find something in the genre and then match it, and that's a successful audition piece. So I'm going to show you my list. I'm going to give you songs from the list that I think make up pretty successful audition songs, and songs that really aren't overused, because that's a whole nother video of songs to just definitely stay away from. I mean, look, if you have an audition song that you sing every time you nail the audition with, and you think, I don't care if it's overused or not, great. Then you keep using it. If it works, don't fix it if it's not broken. But these are just some suggestions that I think make good audition songs. Just a little, indulge me for a second. I'm just a little history here of how I got to these particular audition songs. What I have found in musical theater. So going back a little bit to the classics of the Rodgers and Hammersteins, the Lerner and Loews, the Cole Porters, the Gershwins, all that kind of thing. They definitely all had their own styles, and they're classics for a reason. They're the tried and true, and they've stayed around forever, and everybody harkens back to them for a reason. And then the late 50s and 60s musical theater really got into some of those meat and potatoes musical theater. The, Music Mans and the Damn Yankees and the Sweet Charities and the West Side Stories and all that kind of glut of musical theater. And then the 70s kind of shifted into that more contemporary chorus line rock hair, you know, that kind of feel in musical theater, Pippin, you know, that kind of genre. And then 80s, I think we can all agree, Andrew Lloyd Webber pretty much dominated the 80s for musical theater. And then by the 90s, we got into Disney. Like, Disney became the rage for the 90s, and something like movie adaptations for musicals. You know, they started doing like Big and Footloose and Urban Cowboy and Rocky and, you know, just, and that kind of trend kept going through the 2000s with Spider-Man, and, you know, just, it just kept moving on. And then we got into these sort of jukebox musicals where they started taking very famous bands and pop icons and either doing them autobiographically, you know, taking their lifestyle and making a musical, or just taking their music and putting it into a whole different plot. Now, that's fine. I mean, some of them are great, and they're I mean, even like Jagged Little Pill, they took Alanis Morissette music and set it to a whole different plot. But my issue with that is that pop stars don't sound like musical theater people, and Broadway stars don't sound like pop icons. So to kind of get musical audition pieces from these shows, I think are challenging, because these pop icons who are revered and talented and legendary in their own right, you know, it's a reason why they're icons. And then there's Broadway legends that are revered and talented in their own right for a reason. But the voices don't really match. And when you have a Broadway star singing pop icon legends, they definitely put their own spin on it, as well they should. I mean, they're artists and they sing their own way. But they don't really sound like the pop icons, if you know what I'm saying. And except for the guy who sang Frankie Valli in the original Frankie Valli and Jersey Boys. He sounded dead on to Frankie Valli. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's a very different genre. And along the way, we've had some really standout originals. You know, Wicked, which is why it's been, you know, such a hit. And Come From Away and Dear Evan Hansen and Hamilton. Oh my God, you know, how big has Hamilton just blown up? Because Lin-Manuel is just a genius. You know, and it's pop and some hip hop and rap, and it's got some also, you know, musical theater, beautiful ballads in there. And so, you know, he's Lin-Manuel. Well, you can't say enough. He's genius. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really, I think, hard to pull some of that music to make it good for a successful vocal audition. That's just me. But, you know, I mean, if you want to sing some stuff from, you know, the new Tina Turner musical, that's, you know, these are just my opinions. Just my opinion. So, I'm just going to give you my list. I'm just going to name some musicals and what I think make good audition songs. And, you know, here we go. So, like I say, if you're going to audition for an older classic, and older classics being done like a Rodgers and Hammerstein or Lerner Loewe, I think it's a safe bet to sing something from one of those classics. You know, stick within that style of music, like a Rodgers and Hammerstein to Rodgers and Hammerstein. You know, Sound of Music, stick to South Pacific, or, you know, Carousel to an Oklahoma, you know, just something, My Fair Lady to a Camelot, you know, just, that's a pretty safe bet. I mean, that's not always, you know, you don't have to, but you know, that's definitely not a rule you always have to follow, but it's just something in that genre. But a little, I mean, Brigadoon, I think an overlooked classic. I just love that show. I think it's a gorgeous show. I think Waiting for My Dearie is just a beautiful, sweet little song. I think is just never overused, because I think some of those classics can have overused songs, you know, especially like Carousel, You'll Never Walk Alone. That's very overused. Or I Could Have Danced All Night. It's very overused. But I think Waiting for My Dearie is a sweet little song. And for guys, Come to Me, Bend to Me is just a beautiful ballad. Very romantic. And then Almost Like Being in Love. Just a great true blue musical theater classic song. From Anything Goes, I think if you want a big belt song, Blow Gabriel Blow. I mean, that's like if you're going to audition for MAME or something like Hello Dolly, I think Blow Gabriel Blow shows off one of those big belt voices. You know, I love that. From Gypsy, same thing. I mean, Mama Rose is a huge role. I mean, I think that's probably one of the hardest roles ever in musical theater. But if you've got that kind of, you know, voice, I think Some People or Everything's Coming Up Roses are great choices. If you can bite off that and you can sing it, I'd go for Everything's Coming Up Roses. It's not, you know, quite as overused or tied into Barbara as Don't Rain on My Parade, but it's just as big. And there's been so many Mama Roses, you know, from Tyne Daly to Bernadette to Patty to, you know, no one really thinks of any one Mama Rose. So I think those are okay. I think going with that is okay. And then also from Gypsy for guys, All I Need Now Is a Girl. It's a very suave, debonair kind of song that if you're auditioning for like a Gershwin or a, you know, like Bobby from Crazy for You, that's a cute little song to show off that little charming, you know, musical comedy kind of role and voice. All right, from West Side Story. You know, guys might automatically think Maria or Tonight, but I think Something's Coming. I don't really hear it a lot, so I think now that the movie's coming out, we may hear a lot of West Side Story, the new revision of, you know, movie, but of the movie. So, but I think Something's Coming is a great song from West Side Story. From now. Who's heard of Paint Your Wagon? I mean, that show, when does that ever get done? But from Paint Your Wagon, They Call the Wind Mariah, it is gorgeous for if you're a rich baritone. I mean, I had a friend that used that all the time and nailed the audition. Look that song up, They Call the Wind Mariah. It's a great, great song. From Fiddler, Huddle song, Far From the Home I Love. Beautiful tearjerker song, very emotional. You can really act that song. Beautiful for a soprano. And then for a guy, if you just need a simple kind of carefree song, Miracle of Miracles, that I think is a good song. From Cabaret, if you need a sassy little song for any kind of Fosse-esque kind of show, Don't Tell Mama. It's not in the movie, so Liza doesn't do it. It's not tied to her. But it's called, you know, Don't Tell Mama. It's not as overdone as maybe like If They Could See Me Now from Sweet Charity. It's a really good, you can kind of husk up your voice a little bit, you know. And it's very fun and sassy. So I like that one. From Mac and Mabel. Oh my gosh, Mac and Mabel. You know, that was a big Bernadette Peters show. So, but I don't think, you know, she did it so long ago. You know, it's just, No one would go, oh my God, I love Bernadette Peters. You know, it's Wherever He Ain't. I mean, that's a big, big belt song, you know, and you can just really sell those notes in there. Love them, love them. Just big belt song. So I think, and it's a fun song, and it's a kind of in your face, and you know, love that song. Oliver, torch song, As Long As He Needs Me. Get over it, Nancy. You know, put that torch out, Nancy. But, you know, instead of So I Dreamed a Dream, you know, As Long As He Needs Me, I think that's one to sell emotionally and acting wise, but As Long As He Needs Me. From Man of La Mancha, I mean, that's I think a musical that gets way overlooked, but Dulcinea, the ballad Dulcinea, I think it's beautiful, so sweet, and just so romantic, and just, I think that's a beautiful ballad. So, from La Cage, Song on the Sand, another beautiful song, and I've heard women sing this song, Song on the Sand, but Song on the Sand, yeah, pretty song. Okay, so some people may say never sing Andrew Lloyd Webber songs on auditions, but I love Andrew Lloyd Webber. I mean, my favorite show is Evita, so okay, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna throw these two out. You know, be a hater. I don't know, but I'm gonna throw these two out. One from Joseph, Close Every Door. You may say, oh my God, if anything's overdone, but I still think Close Every Door is a good, solid song. I don't think it's as overdone as Corner of the Sky. I'm just going to toss it on out there. And from Jesus Christ Superstar, I Don't Know How to Love Him. I still think that's a beautiful song. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. From The Wiz, Home. You know, I just love that song from The Wiz. I've always loved that song since I was a little girl. I have loved that song from The Wiz. As soon as I get home, you know, yeah. And for a fun, upbeat song, Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News. That is a get you up off your feet song. So, yeah, I like those songs. The Wiz is fun. I love that show. Yeah, I love that show. Okay, so from Dreamgirls, whew, torch song, and I am telling you, woo, I wish I could pull this one off. I mean, you've got Jennifer Holliday and Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, I mean, you got those two voices in your head, but I mean, if you can pull that one off, yeah, I'm gonna put those on my list. Okay, so from Miss Saigon. Now, I think Miss Saigon is just a gorgeous musical, and I think everybody goes and sings from Les Mis, but I never really hear Miss Saigon. And I think Movie in My Mind is a really pretty song. I mean, it's haunting. I think it's a beautiful song. And then for acting chops, I mean, if you can relate to this song in any way, if you have children or you have somebody you're very protective of, I'd Give My Life for You. I think that is a really great audition song. I think there's just a lot of things you can do with that song, and it has big notes, and it's a belt song. You can probably tell I'm picking a lot of belt songs because that's my voice type, but I like that song. From Sideshow. Sideshow is a very little known show, Sideshow. Wasn't on Broadway that long, but I Will Never Leave You. Now, two girls sing that song, but I think you could very easily just have it one girl sing that song. So I Will Never Leave You. It's a great song. Never heard of it? Go listen. From Memphis. Memphis has great music. I just love that show. I just love that show. So if you need something in that vein, little kind of country rock kind of thing, 60-ish. Radio, I think, is a great song, and Memphis Living in Me. I think those are two solid songs. From 9 to 5. Oh my gosh. I think the music from this show is really fun too. And Megan Hilty, how much do we love Megan? Oh my goodness. Backwoods Barbie. I mean, yeah, I think that's a real good audition song. And so is Get Out and Stay Out. I mean, that is just a in your face. I mean, I think if you're auditioning for Waitress or even Legally Blonde or Come From Away, I mean, that is just that's a good solid song right there. Yeah. From Catch Me If You Can, I love Fly Fly Away. Oh my God, that is such a big voice kind of a song, Fly Fly Away. And for guys, I think Goodbye. I mean, you know, Aaron Tveit, you know, his voice is great. I just love Aaron Tveit. But yeah, Goodbye, I think that's a great song. And then Come From Away, Me and the Sky. I think that's a really good song. That's a good solid song. Again, I know I keep picking these big voices, but I think I gravitate to those. So I'm sorry if I'm not putting as many soprano songs on. Now that I'm looking over them, I'm like, oh, I maybe didn't put as many beautiful soprano songs on the list. But and my last one from the Addams Family, Wednesday is such a cool little character. I mean, she's edgy and she's kind of a nasty little, you know what. But I mean, she's, you know, Pulled is a really good edgy little song. So if you're doing something like you want Heathers or Mean Girls or Bring It On, or, you know, just one of those, I think Pulled is a good audition song. So that's my list. I think it's also they also kind of say stay away from current things on Broadway, because if it's current on Broadway or, you know, a current really like just fresh coming out, you know, everybody's listening to that soundtrack right now. So everybody's got, you know, that fresh cast recording in their head. So they're like, oh, they don't sound like, you know, the original right now. And everybody's listening to that. And right now we're all listening to new cast recordings of stuff. So, you know, I mean, but everybody's personal preference. I mean, you know, there's a lot on Broadway well, hopefully soon we'll all be getting back into shows everywhere. But, you know, like I say, if you've got something that always works for you, then do it. My other tip is, before a vocal audition, keep your voice really moist. You know, just keep those vocal cords hydrated. Hot tea and lemon, you know, warm tea, lemon does the trick. No honey, refined sugar, anything like that. That just gunks up those cords. You don't need that. Also, your sinus cavities here and up here, you know, those act as your speakers. So you want those clear, because that's where your sound's going to come out and project. You know, that's all that. You're going to bring that sound out and project from here. You're not going to tighten up here. Sound's not going to push from here. It's going to all push from up here. So you want that clear as can be. So, you know, a couple days before, night before, don't be out and about. If you're prone to allergies, you know, I know I am. You know, don't be outside and getting with the pollen and everything, or try not to be in a smoky area, you know, where stuff's just going to aggravate everything. You just want all that to be as clear as possible. All right, so I hope this was helpful. I hope you liked this video. There will be more to come. I will definitely do one on songs to try to stay away from. And I'll also be doing some more dance ones. So anyway, good luck, break a leg, and I'll see you in my next video.